Guys, Jimmy from Core Offroad. We're here this afternoon for Shop Tour, episode number 1. Joining me this afternoon is Angelo, our sales manager. Angelo, what have we got installed this afternoon?
Thanks, Jimmy. So this afternoon we're going to go through canopy models of the GT, the GTX and the GTU, and there are 3 models that most people go for when they're purchasing canopy.
So the main thing with the models or the layouts of our canopies, as Angelo said, there's 3 main designs. Some modifications or tweaks or changes customers will do, but the 3 main models have been segregated or designed for majority of people and what they're doing. So the GT model, Angelo.
So GT model is based around those people that sort of want to go camping and they're sort of new to it, so more like the grey nomad. Plenty of storage, good fridge space, gives you the essentials that you need to go camp.
Yeah. So the GT model comes with a Dometic CRX 80 litre. The GT model, as Angelo said, is designed for someone who's towing a camper trailer, for example. They don't necessarily need the full functioning kitchen like a GTU model. What they're looking for more so is storage space. For touring around during the day, it's still got the fridge on board. On the driver's side of the canopy, it's got one large 900mm drawer for recovery gear and tools and things like that. What other features are standouts for the GT?
Standouts probably storage.
Yep.
For people that want to carry swags or larger items.
Yep.
That's what it's designed for.
Yep.
The fridge is great if you're just going down to the beach and doing things like, you know, just going for a Sunday sesh.
Yeah, exploring while
yeah.
you're touring around, going sightseeing, things like that.
Watch the sunset, all those sort of pretty
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So,
Most of the other features with the GT, like the rest of our canopies, we've still got camp lights in the doors. The GT model comes with an AGM battery, unlike the GTX and the GTU have both got lithium in them. A few things with the GT model, as most of our canopies are central locking, both to under tray boxes, trundle drawer and the canopy. Interior lighting, what other sort of standouts?
well, I guess it's the standard baseline for the models to come, is what it is. Awning is standard, party lights standard, ePro standard, so battery monitor, fridge standard, battery standard, air compressor standard,
Yep.
and sort of go through everything that's in there is the baseline before you lead up to their up-spec models.
They're pretty well turnkey, really. That's
Exactly.
all of our models are designed that, you know, the customer, once they take possession of their canopy and they do handover, they don't need anything else.
No, just roll down to your normal IGA or wherever you shop, load up with food, alcohol, water,
Yep.
and away you go.
You're good to go. So from the GT model, we then move into the GTX. The GTX is the next step up, I guess.
It is.
You know, for customers that are looking to, the GTX model is quite popular as well with tradesmen who are looking for more of a work and play kind of scenario. GTX is a bit more of a kitchen side. It's got more storage for food, everything like that. One of the big things, I guess, with the GTX that we hear from customers all the time is that when they see the kitchen side of the canopy and you take them around to the other side, they're expecting that because it's got a fridge and drawers and a table and cupboards and everything, that there's no room on the other side.
Yeah.
What have we got on a GTX on the other side?
Other than the battery housing and the air compressor, which is housed in a what we call driver's side compartment to customers that don't know,
Yeah.
essentially it's all free storage.
Yeah.
So, like, load it up.
There's a lot of room in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like on a 79 series, for example, from the closed door to the dividing wall in a GTX, we've got about 1080mm in depth, and due to a 79 series canopy being 1900, minus the driver's side compartment, we're about 1700mm in length. Now that's a heap of room.
Yeah.
Heap of room. Things like swags and chairs, kids push bikes, scooters, all the stuff that we've got to carry. A lot of things, is there any main upgrades or extras that customers will add on with something like a GTX?
There's actually quite a few.
Yep.
One of the probably biggest upgrades that we see come through our doors is the 110 litre Dometic upright.
Mhm.
Is the first thing that they always want.
Bit more fridge space.
Yeah, fridge space. The dedicated freezer compartment is a good option.
Yep.
You can then take it to better cooling solutions for the stuff that you drive back. The other upgrade is trundle drawer lid.
Yep.
Which is popular throughout no matter what model you purchase.
And that trundle drawer lid's for, you know, sitting your barbecue on or your gas cooker or, you know, making lunch on it if need be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And other than upgrading to a bigger battery, they're probably the most popular upgrades they can do to a GTX.
Yep.
The other one is the hot water system, which people do tend to add on.
Yep. So a lot of customers, although they may not need the top spec model with the GTU, they'll choose to go with the GTX and add a few extras on. The other thing, I guess, with the GTX is going to be roof basket. Is really popular. On a vehicle such as, say, a 79 series, that driver's side of the canopy, because it is an open area, when you are trying to store camp chairs, tables, things like that, because the canopy is so tall, to suit a 79 series, even on a standard car like a Ranger, you've still got quite a bit of height. So to use up all that area is quite difficult. So that's where a roof basket comes into it. And I'm sure you'll see them on our other videos. On a 79 series or a Ranger, we've got 3 different sizes. One of the main ones is 1200mm wide, 750mm deep, and 190mm tall. So what does that sort of do with customers? They've got a bit more room to put everything, or?
Yeah, they do. People just, in pictures and videos, it just doesn't give us the justice. That's the main thing. The fact that GTX is only a third of the canopy in terms of width, and you've got 2/3 left for storage, well, that's a lot of room to put anything. So.
And same thing with the GTX, standard features, I guess, much like the other range.
Yeah, so standard features are 85 litre upright fridge, the ePro standard, a full Core Offroad switch panel is standard, the lithium upgrade is standard.
And what do you get in the lithium pack with the GTX?
So you get a 125 amp hour lithium Energizer battery. It is Bluetooth, so you can pull it up from your phone on the app, monitor it while you're driving. It does have a reset button as well to reset it if you do kill the battery. The other upgrade is that you get a travel buddy as standard. You also get the
Fusion sound system comes with it as well.
I'm trying to think what else there is. There's quite a lot. The other thing too is you get a dedicated fit out in terms of camping. When you're talking like places to put your plates and all that sort of stuff. And to be honest, GTX is probably my most favourite. And the reason being is just that deep drawer and the thought behind it. Put your master food sauce bottles, rum bottles, all those things that can stand upright normally. That's what you want, especially when you're travelling. You don't want it laying down because chances are it's going to go everywhere.
And look, the GTX, when we were travelling around Australia, we did 10 months on the road with our family. In that 10 months, the GTX was my dream canopy. It was everything that I wished that I had and everything that I wanted. Now, in relation to storing things, I can vouch for it. I've got a few stories about corrugations and what it does to things. One of them was long life milk. So we had 4 litres of long life milk in Ziploc bags, all stored side by side, and after corrugations were that bad, it actually rubbed the cardboard through the long life milk bottles, and we ended up with 4 litres of milk all through our caravan. So with our design team, one of the main things with the design cues of the canopies, a lot of customers don't see, and they don't see the thought process that goes into our internal fit outs, is things like a large storage drawer. And we see it all the time. I'm always looking at canopies and other manufacturers and things like that. One thing that we're paramount with our designs is having a large drawer where you can put a bottle of rum. Now I drink Kraken. Kraken has a finger handle in it, so when you drink a few too many rumbos, you can never drop your bottle. That's always a plus. Things like oil, tomato sauce bottles, everything like that, it's paramount to have storage for them things. So the GTX model with the large drawer and the storage area above it that was designed to fit a Weber barbecue or the Dometic barbecue. The clip track's up there as well, so that you can actually tie the barbecue in place. It's pretty well got everything that you need in the GTX.
The other thing that people don't realise too is that big drawer, you can open it and close it without having to close the prep bench underneath. So if you've got your sandwiches out and making sandwiches and you need sauce out of that drawer, you don't have to take everything off. So the thought process is there for that reason. So.
And even in the GTX, like the General, for example, a lot of you guys would know the General as my 79 series, it had a GTX canopy on it. When I had it all kitted out with a cutlery drawer at the bottom, I then had plates and bowls in the next drawer, because in a 79 series you get a 4 drawer tower. It had everything. Granted, the top drawer in my 79 series with a 5-inch lift and 37s, the top drawer was all feel. I couldn't actually see anything in there. So, but that's what you get with a big lifted and jacked up car. The GTX, once again for me, was paramount. It had everything that I needed. Sales-wise, I guess the GTS speaks for itself. You know, for a long time there with Core Offroad, it was definitely by far a #1 selling canopy.
I did try and outrun you and try and sell more GTs.
More GTs.
I think we got there in the end.
Yeah, that's right. So one thing with the GTX, it got absolutely smoked by a new GTU layout, which is definitely by far the most popular. Moving along is our GTU.
Yeah.
There's a bit of history there to our GTU model with Bluey, with our Ranger. I think it would have been 8 months, 9 months that we had our GTU model with Bluey released. We didn't sell a single one.
That was,
You know, so I guess that was a testament. We were selling nearly twice as many GTXs to GTs at one point, and out of all of that, we never actually sold a single GTU. So back to the design team, there was some issues with our original GTU model, and look, I'm happy to admit it, the design wasn't that great. I don't feel bad because no one actually bought one. So there's no issues there. But our new GTU, it was 4 or 5 months in the making. One of the main features that our GTU is essentially designed for full liverboard, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's designed that for customers that aren't towing a camper trailer or a caravan behind them, they want to go off-road, off-grid.
Yep.
Self-supporting that's what it's designed for.
Yep. And a lot of the time these days with COVID-19, we're finding heaps of customers, because everybody's stuck in Australia and they can't travel overseas, their caravan parks you can't get into. Free camps you're struggling to get into. So we've got a lot of customers that are selling their caravan, you know, trading up and going to a full liverboard vehicle that's got everything. So a few keys, I guess, with our GTU model. I know from our side with the design, the bench height was paramount, because that was one area that we failed dramatically with our original GTU model, was the bench height. You know, with our pull-out kitchen being 200mm tall, it's 200mm above the canopy floor. Now that starts to become an issue when you talk about lifted cars, even on something like a Ranger, for example, with a 2-inch lift and a set of 285s on it. It really does become an issue.
It does, especially if you're not tall like me. I mean, on camera I look tall. But
stools are the same height.
Stools the same height, so we're all good. But yeah, speaking on that, the bench height does help, especially for customers. Normally, most people's wives are shorter than their partners, and you know, you see it all the time, especially customers that come through. They're always the same. They're like, oh, you know, how high is my car going to be, and how high is the canopy going to sit? And it's like, well, it's not actually going to be that bad once you open up the canopy and show them that the floor height is actually at a working height. Yeah, you don't seem to have any dramas.
And the main thing with the GTU was bench height. That was critical with the design team and our engineers, was to keep that bench height as low as we possibly could.
The other thing that people, well, when you go through a GTU model, the sink is also something that people don't really understand either. Look, a lot of people wash stuff in buckets and stuff like that, but then if you can have a sink in your actual canopy, great. But that's where the water pump comes into play. No point in having a sink if you don't have pressurised water to be able to push that water through and wash the dishes.
Oh, definitely. And yes, storage, like as we spoke of before with the GTX model, you know, where there is that additional storage. Once you get into the GTU model, it's next level. You know, our pull-out pantry, I know it's our design, and I own the company, but our GTU pull-out pantry is awesome. So there's one thing you'll stay tuned to, because there's a new wagon version of our GTU canopy coming out, which will be in another video very soon.
And I'll just add to that note, you cannot buy it separately.
For the 4,000 people that tried to buy our kitchen separately, we do not sell it. But the pull-out pantry side of things, as you see behind us, it's killer. You know, it's quick, it's easy, fast to set up, and it's got more storage than you poke a stick at.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's what you want from something that has all the bells and whistles. And it's why it's called Grand Tour Ultimate.
Yeah, that's it. And little things like awkward things to store, like cutlery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we were sitting down with the design of the GTU, you've got to have a dedicated cutlery. Is one of them things that's just a nightmare, you know. And with our GTU kitchen, you've got the partitions. So when you get a GTU model and we do handover, we actually don't fit the partitions, do we?
No, we don't. We let the customer determine what they want to put in that drawer.
Yeah.
Like one thing, if I showed you my own cutlery drawer at home, we'll give you a snippet of what it looks like. Then you understand why we did it in this one.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess having that option, you know, depends what the customer wants to run. I know the ones we have set up for other customers that have asked, we run the 4 compartment divisions straight at the front with a big section at the back. So you can have knives, forks, spoons, and then tongs and egg flipper and everything at the back, you know.
All the other essentials that
Yeah, that's it.
in a clear view cutlery set. So.
And I guess once again, going back to that design cue, the GTU pantry is the same. We have tall storage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's one thing to me that's critical, you know, because there's that many things that you do take with you. And I'm sure if a lot of you guys go home, go and measure the height of a tomato sauce bottle, because I did years ago, and I make sure that they fit. You know, other things that we take, I'm mad keen fisherman, so one of the best meals I can cook is panko crumb fish. Yeah. All right, to do that, you've got to take a bottle of oil with you. You know, so to be able to store that somewhere, you've got to have an option for it.
Yeah, you've got to have the room.
That's it.
Like, yeah, it's stored out, and that's the main purpose behind it. It's not just someone just bang the kitchen together.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, there's a spice rack there, there's, you know, we even have customers that go find a little coffee machine that actually fits in that department because that's where they want to have their coffee.
Yep.
Look, it has multiple uses, which is great.
Yep.
It's not just what we want, it's normally everyone has different needs and wants, and that's what it's designed for. So, and you know, great part about it is when we get customers bring their cars back for other work, we see all the amendments that they do, and we're like, oh, that's where they hang their fishing rods, and that's where they put this,
and that's good, you know. But I guess the GTU, like the other 2 models, it comes with everything.
Yeah.
You know, there is some options that we do have for customers, but as a turnkey package, there is no reason why you can't grab that canopy, straight at handover. I guess earlier in the year we had a customer that we sent a vehicle over to New South Wales with COVID. We ended up diverting the truck to Melbourne because he was in Melbourne at the time, and they basically turned up with a bag of clothes each. They rang us and said we can't get home, so we threw in some cutlery and plates and bowls and everything out of the showroom so that they were ready to go. Now they spent what, 6 weeks travelling around nearly 8 weeks I think, travelling around the Vico High Country with a brand new car. They'd never even seen it before. You know, they had a GTU model on a Ranger. It had absolutely everything, and I guess that's testament to the claim of a full turnkey build. They basically turned up with a bag of clothes each. We told them what size sheets they needed for their iCamper rooftop tent. Yep. They went to the bottle-o and they went and did groceries. 8 weeks they spent on the road. You know, so that side of it, I guess, is the true definition of full turnkey.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know, what are some of the upgrades of a GTU?
GTU. So one of the popular upgrades is the CD30 slide-out drawer fridge.
Yep.
That is one of the most popular.
Yep.
The other popular upgrade is, again, trundle drawer lid. Gives you more storage to put your barbie and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
As it's how the layout on a GTU, as you know, is different to a GTX.
Yep.
So a Weber and all the bigger items go on the other side.
Yep.
You got the drawers there. You can convert them to lockable drawers.
Yep.
Some customers do want locks on them.
Yep.
The other upgrades that you can do to GTU is battery size, which is common, just because of the room that we have where we can put a bigger battery bank.
Yep.
Other than that, there's rooftop tent.
Yeah,
and
normal,
all those sort of
you know,
normal solutions.
Rear tire carrier, rear ladder, depending on which rooftop tent they've got, all that kind of stuff. I guess touching back on that CD30, the GTU comes with CRX 110.
Yes.
So there is plenty of fridge and freezer space.
Yeah.
But the CD30, I guess, look, I'm getting one fitted in my new canopy. It's a bit of a dedicated beer fridge, really.
Yeah.
You know, even if we are fishing and we catch plenty of fish, at least then we can drink the beers and fill it with fillets.
So you've got to go through quite a few to fill it.
Yeah, that's right. But the big thing, you know, we've had people comment on some of our YouTube videos and Instagram, you know, saying, where do you put everything? Now, I sat down, we had a GTU recently on a extra cab D-Max that we completed. I quickly sat down, we were around 1,300 litres of storage on the driver's side.
Yeah, that's
You know,
heaps.
that's not including the CD30. So the GTU from standard comes with 3 drawers on the driver's side, on the false floor. With the CD30 in there, you basically lose one of the drawers and you still end up with a his and hers. Now, 1,200 litres of storage to put clothes, bedding.
As a comparison, that's pretty much an SUV size boot with nothing in it.
Yep.
As a comparison, by the time you fold the seats down, you've almost got around 1,300.
Yeah. And I guess it's hard sometimes, like if you're looking at a photo or what, it's hard to gauge sometimes how big an area is, hence why we're doing shop tour.
Yeah.
You know?
Give you an up close view of it
Yeah.
and let you know what's in it. So if you've got any questions,
Yeah, put it in the comments and let us know. Look, I guess there's a few other key features the GTU comes with standard. We touched on hot water systems before for the GTX.
GTX comes standard in the GTU.
Standard with the GTU. Water pump, which is an option on the other 2 models, is standard on GTU. One of the other features with the GTU that's not in any of the others is the topography water counter. Tell us, how does that work, mate?
So the water counter is designed to count back from the water tank. So as you use your water and when you do go travelling, water is paramount. So you've then got to keep an eye on how much you've got in that water tank. So as you use it, it counts down and lets you know when you start getting low. It does work really good on the GTU, and that's why we sort of had to have it in there. The other thing too is the upgrade that we came out with when we did the hot water system was the swing away bracket for the actual.
Now it's only for storage, isn't it? It's when you store the hot water system, it's got to go in the drawer or stored, and then you can pull it out of the drawer, sit it onto the swing out bracket, and swing it out in your canopy. You know, the GTU, I guess, water pump we touched on. One of the options that we do have to upgrade is our gas system in the under tray box. Now that goes on the driver's side at the rear. 2 kilo gas bottle. We have the gas fitters come through and fit the regulator in there. So the gas bottle's all mounted in a little bracket, custom made bracket in the box. Then there's a bayonet fitting, which is underneath the box, outside. So if you are going through and setting up a hot water system or your barbecue, open the under tray box, turn the gas bottle on, close it up, and you can plug your bayonet fitting from your hottie or your barbecue straight into it. Pretty cool little system, to be honest.
It is. It's designed to be simple and easy. All the taps underneath the GTU are colour coded to make it easy for you to set up at the kitchen, the hot water, and for your barbie and all that sort of thing. So
make it easy. You want it so that, you know, if say your missus is in here doing handover and she doesn't know what's going on, and you're out fishing for the day or trekking around, and she wants to hook the kitchen up, 2 hoses, one's blue, one's red. Stick the blue one on the blue tap and the red one on the red tap. Yeah, it's just to try and make it easy, that's all.
An old KISS principle.
Yeah, that's it, essentially. Some of the other features with the GTU, I think we've pretty well covered majority of it. Now, upgrades for customers. So the GTU comes with a hell of a lot of gear as standard.
It does.
What are some of the, you know, we touched on the CD30, we've obviously got rear tyre carriers and rear ladders. What about electrical, mate?
Electrical, probably 2 things is inverter is a common ask. Now look, normally inverters are great, don't get me wrong, but they do suck the juice out of your battery system. So I normally say, look, if you're going to be running an inverter, what are you doing for solar? And we'll touch on solar in a second. But with the upgrades, you can do an inverter upgrade, you can do an AC charger upgrade. Now what an AC charger upgrade is, and for the people that don't understand, is for the guys that are going to, you know, caravan parks, or even when you're at home and you want to plug 240 in, grab your extension lead, plug it in. Now it's a weatherproof plug that goes underneath the back of the canopy. They pretty much pull out the clear cap, stick the extension cord in, and it was then provide charge to your batteries.
At 40 amps with the Enerdrive AC40 that we use. Like, we are going to go into a bit more in depth in another video about electrical systems, because we have so many customers that come through that want to run induction cookers off a 100 amp hour battery. It doesn't work that way. So we are going to do, with our Auto Spark, we're going to do a bit more of an in-depth video on electrical systems. just to go through and let customers know some of the facts, that's all, because there is limitations.
There is. Yeah.
To electrical system. One thing we can touch on is our Enerdrive ePro Plus. Every Canopy has one. Now, anything with 12 volt systems, information's power.
Yeah.
It's critical. If you don't know anything about your system, you're going to get caught out. You know, and that's where the ePro Plus comes into it. As a 600 amp, I think, shunt. So it'll actually log everything's going in and everything's coming out. It'll provide you with a percentage rating and how many amps you're drawing and how many hours till you're empty and everything like that. So one thing to remember, information's power with 12 volt systems.
Yeah.
Some of the other upgrades.
So yeah, other upgrades now, roof baskets, not really compatible with a GTU,
Yep.
Only because you've got that drawer system on the outside for storage, so that the basket physically can't swing down enough
Yep.
to be able to place some things in there.
Yep.
Other upgrades, just trying to think.
Rooftop tents.
Yeah, rooftop tents.
Rooftop tents are very common around here, especially on GTU.
Yeah.
You know, customers going a full liverboard system. Pretty much any rooftop tent we can do solar packages for.
Yeah.
This one behind us has actually got how many?
540 watts of Enerdrive solar
on the roof.
So what we did was we joined 380 watt panels.
Yep.
And linked them all in. So yeah, 540 watts of solar.
Yep.
On a good sunny day, should give you roughly about 30 amps per hour back into your battery bank. So
Yep.
almost equivalent to starting your car
Yep.
for an hour.
Yep. It's perfect. Like, at the end of the day, it's quite silent.
Yeah.
And it's forever charging.
Yeah.
That's all. So for anybody who's looking at running induction systems and inverters for coffee machines and a couple of fridges and everything like that, solar is critical. You know, and I guess that's one thing the sales boys go through, make sure that the customer gets the right outcome and the right canopy for what they're planning on doing.
Yeah. The other thing too is a lot of people think or forget about how they're going to charge their battery. So if they're not running a solar blanket or they're not running dedicated solar, other than starting the vehicle, another upgrade that they can do is have an answer plug that we give them so they can actually charge from a 240 charger.
Remotely.
Yeah, remotely.
Yep.
You know, plug it into a power point and, you know, plug the answer plug in and it'll just top up your battery.
Yep.
And yeah, keep it on flow.
Yep.
So.
And I guess what's, touching back, I know I'm not in sales anymore. You've always copped a bit of a flogging in there and you let a lot of people come through. So what's the number one thing that customers will say when they either see one in person or they come through and have a look, or you get the 2-hour round tour with Angelo on the sales pitch for a canopy? What's the number one thing they'll say?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
No, look, honestly, they're just taken back. Look, when I give customers a rundown, I'll give them the full experience as I do to any customer that comes in.
Yep.
And I think they're just blown away about the quality of our gear, the finishing touches and the level of effort that we go to, and in terms of perfection and what it looks like.
Yep. It's almost a requirement to have OCD to work around here.
Yeah,
really.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's like, we've had other people that have worked in dealerships and everything like that for 20 odd years, and some of the things that our workshop manager Brent will pull them up on, they've never been pulled up before in their life.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, if you're selling a premium product, it needs to be a premium product. That's correct. So I guess a lot of the customers, even when I was in sales, they'd walk in, one of the main things that I used to get was it looks better in person than it does online.
Yeah.
They've watched our YouTube videos, they've looked at Instagram, our recent builds on our website, everything like that. A customer will walk in and say, wow, they look better in person than they do online, and typically I guess that's not overly common. You know what I mean? Normally things are, good from far, far from good. It's one of them things when customers are saying, yeah, it looks better in person. Well, it's a bit of a testament, that's all.
Yeah. The good thing is that we have display models too, so they can come and have a look. The good thing too is as customers' cars get built and they're doing different things, we can highlight to them and show them those upgrades, which is good that they can see it in person.
Yep.
The fact that I guess our canopies don't look very tradie based, no offense.
Yeah.
It's just, the finish. Like, we get a lot of customers that come in that want us to do internal fit outs to their canopies.
Yep.
And as we tell them, it's never going to look like our canopy. just on the way that the aluminium guys make theirs. So
as a manufactured product, there's always infrastructure that you put in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To allow for things like cables and
cables,
all
high
that
level
stuff, you know.
wiring, and
that's
to make it look neat.
Yeah. So look, that's a quick rundown. There is other GTX, GTU videos on YouTube, you know, plus our recent builds and all that kind of stuff. That's a bit of a defined grouping, I guess, on what the three models are designed for. Is there anything else we need to add in there, mate?
Just trying to think. I don't think so. We do. So a lot of customers come and ask us, do we do lift-off canopies? Currently, our canopies are chassis mounted.
Yep.
So that's one thing to get across until such time that we come out with a system that's going to work.
Yep.
We'll touch on that.
Strong enough. And look, in all honesty, that was why I binned the jack-off side of things. I got young kids. If somebody had a jack-off canopy with a 40mm spigot, for example, sliding into their canopy, now we all know canopies can get a lot of weight to them, especially once they're packed, and that's one thing a lot of customers, they forget about how much things weigh. If you had a canopy sitting there on legs and there's 500-600 kilos sitting on there, and knowing my kids, they'd be swinging around the legs. You know, if something was to go wrong and that canopy was to collapse, I'd never be able to live with ourselves. You know, so currently in our full range, it's chassis mount, so it is a bit of a hot topic for jack off. But look, we might go into that in another video. Other than that, guys, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit the bell notification below to subscribe and stay in tune with the latest builds and videos coming out of Core Offroad. Have a good weekend.